Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. So, I am a DJ in Las Vegas, and I just thought it'd be fun to talk about the way I prep sets and kind of like where I find underground tunes, what's been my inspiration for that over the years. So, if you're new to this channel, my name is Ronnie. I also go by DJ Sensa, and this is a relatively new channel, and I'm kind of just talk about everything I do in my creative life. And if you like this video, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. So right out the gate, I already want to talk about the stigma that seems to be there in the DJ community. I could probably make a whole separate video on it, but about the idea of like prepping a set and curating beforehand versus just freestyling everything. There seems to be this like superiority complex of old school DJs, and I don't necessarily mean by age, but just like an old school mentality that you simply like show up, right? You show up, you should live and breathe music. So of course you're gonna have all these playlists and you're gonna completely freestyle the set. I'm gonna counter that and say it's just to each their own. There's not a right or wrong. Personally, I enjoy curating my sets with some like cushion. Like generally I curate a bit. I'm like, oh, what kind of event am I playing? Who am I opening for? Or like what's the venue? What's this event about? Is it based in a certain subgenre? Like, for example, I'm playing a psytrance set next month, and I'm specifically asked to play progressive psytrance because the curator knows that's kind of something I'm really into right now. So, yeah, obviously, I'm gonna like pick out some songs before, you know what I mean? One big way that I have found underground music throughout my life is honestly traveling. And I know that's a privilege. I've been fortunate enough to travel a bit for actually performing as a dancer at music festivals. So every time I'm in a new city internationally, I always go on Resident Advisor and look for underground shows. And that's been very, very fruitful and has actually been a really big way that I found some awesome underground artists. For example, when I was working EDC Korea, I was lucky because that show, it's not like EDC Vegas where it goes to like 5 a.m. I'd be off by like 11 p.m. I would get home and then I would go to a show. So I did manage to go to a really cool underground techno club, and then from there, I listened to some of the DJ sets, really enjoyed them, and then I followed them on SoundCloud and Instagram and ended up playing some of their music in my sets once I was back home. I also have had great experiences going to local and like small kind of underground shows in Tokyo as well as Mexico City, and those two places have been very influential and have been very just expanding for me to find new artists. So all that to say, you don't have to physically travel to these places to find music, but what you can do is go on Resident Advisor, look up certain clubs, like you can look up techno shows or you can just look up at all the events that are that weekend, because typically when we're saying like underground, we mean like local, like just smaller, not big nightclub events, not necessarily like proper underground like warehouse um off record parties. But yeah, so go on Resident Advisor, just get curious, go to like different cities, go to Colombia, Bogota, like go to Argentina, go to Tokyo, go to Taipei, like go wherever and look up the venues and then look at some of those names on the flyers. And then you can look them up on Instagram and find their music. A lot of these artists are on SoundCloud or Bandcamp. Now, one caveat just to be aware of is that production quality matters, and sometimes smaller producers, they just don't have the level of technical skill yet to have very high quality production, and that of course matters when you're DJing on a good sound system or at least a loud one at a club or something. So do be careful of that. Use your ears, obviously. But honestly, most of the underground artists I found have been of quality. So that's one way to do it. Go on RA, find these clubs, find these little discotecas and little underground, smaller venues, look at the flyers, and also look at the venue's YouTube channel. Like one of the venues I really liked in Mexico City, I think I looked up their YouTube channel, or yeah, I looked up the artist from the flyer because this was like years after I went. I've been there twice, but then it's been a long time now. So this summer when I was prepping some DJ sets to get inspiration, I used the same exact technique. I went on RA, I looked at the flyer, I saw one resident there that plays a lot. So I was like, oh, I'm, that's interesting. So I went on their social media. I also saw that they had a fair bit of sets recorded on YouTube. So that segues into my next point is listen to sets, obviously. I don't know. It's like I don't know what other DJs are doing to prep their sets. So to me, this seems like obvious, but look for different DJs' YouTube sets. After you look them up, you can look up their sets, and even if you're looking up a more popular artist, you can look at their sets on YouTube, Shazam throughout the way, also look through their track list. I find that to be very useful as a way of digging, because some of them commercially artists, like if you're just going through their songs on Spotify, it's that commercial sound, but a lot of them like quote unquote underground music. When you actually look up their sets, when you see all the places they played around the world, like the caves in Cappadocia, Turkey, or a circle set, like they're very versatile, so you never know what you can find there. And also going years back sometimes. Of course, depending on the gig you're playing, you might not want a very like dated sound, but if you're going like 5 to 7 years back, it doesn't really matter too much. Another way to find these international artists is that you can go on an AI tool on ChatGPT and be like, hey, what are some Salvadorian artists, or what are some, whatever country's artists in the techno scene? And you can find a lot of good stuff that way. The reason to do these 3 methods, if you're interested in putting a spin on your sets, is because, to be honest, like a lot of times when I go to DJ sets, I do notice that they're playing the safe route. And I don't blame them for doing that, because we're in this age now where you have to like kind of fight for people's attention, and instead of building up a sonic journey, it's like people are just playing bangers and like high energy the whole time, and especially the commercial sound. Well, I live in Vegas, so commercial and Vegas go hand in hand, but I have noticed this in other cities too, like LA and Austin, Texas, when I've gone out to shows there. So obviously, to each their own. It's fine to play that stuff, and it's not like I play 0 of that stuff, but I'm very cognizant of throwing in these types of selections that I don't think every DJ is throwing in, because I dug for them. I literally travel to find some of these artists, or I look online and specifically seek out international, underground, smaller, more niche artists. So those are the main 3 ways of doing it. Just to recap, go on RA, look at clubs in different cities around the world, and then look up the DJs on those flyers. Number 2, listen to lots of sets on YouTube, whether you are following those artists that you've seen on the flyers and you're looking at their sets on YouTube, or just the artists you like, listen to their sets. And number 3, you can also go online and seek out artists in a certain subgenre by country if you just search for it on like a search engine or an AI tool. I know these days it's more popular to just go ahead and ask ChatGPT rather than like Google it. Lastly, browsing Bandcamp can be useful too. Just by nature, it tends to be smaller artists on there, so I have had some good luck just searching through different labels and different subgenres and stuff on Bandcamp as opposed to Beatport. So I hope this helps you get some ideas to differentiate your sets, especially if you just want to expand your horizons, because going on just Beatport charts or going on like Spotify, like it's gonna be very limited. You don't want Spotify to be your DJ, you know what I mean? Like if you're a DJ, I encourage digging. Don't just be like, oh, I like this song, so I wonder what the Spotify algorithm's gonna recommend. And then it's also obvious when people do that. Like again, when people are just playing what's trending. I know that Prog House is kind of having a resurgence and also a spin on it, especially. I think it's a really interesting case study, the way that John Summit was like one of those chads who played tech house, and now he has this arc to playing like emotive progressive house, and he's getting his fan base from like the tech house sector to go over to Prog House, so that genre is trending. And I've been hearing recent sets where they're playing that kind of music, but it's always like the commercial sound. And again, it's fine. Like, people like that. That's cool. But if you don't want to just like settle for being a part of the trend and playing all the popular songs in that genre that's having a resurgence, there's truly other ways to find things. And also you can cross over, right? Like, for example, first of all, there's too many subgenres. Like sidebar, but there's too many genres and subgenres and labels. Like, not like music labels, but ways to categorize music. I know why categories and genres are important, obviously, so you know what type of event you're going to, but there is too many. Like, it's crazy. Like, just play good music. So for example, what I meant about crossover is that I'm playing for Rafael Cerato this weekend. I'm at the opening slot. There's a couple DJs before he comes on as the main headliner, and it would be the safe bet to just play Rafael Cerato adjacent music, but you can also throw in like indie dance, you know? I've noticed a lot of good DJs do that. One case study of a popular, very prolific, like popular DJ who plays crossover music is Tiga, Tiga. He throws in these indie dance songs, and it just truly makes the sets unique and memorable. So you don't have to be like, oh, this music event is like rooted in this kind of music, so I'm gonna play like all that kind of music as well. Like for one, yeah, you could just stick to that subgenre and then find some of those underground tracks through the methods we mentioned, but you can like experiment. Like if you're into being an artist, if you're in this for some element of artistry, like you might not be a music producer, I'm not one, that's okay, but you can still put your spin on it and put your stamp on your sets. So don't be afraid to like take a risk. Don't be like so worried that the promoter is going to be like, "Oh my god, they threw in like such and such kind of music even though it's supposed to be like a tech house event or whatever it is." They just want people to dance and they want people to maybe spend money at the bar. It depends on the city, depends on the business model. Obviously, in Vegas, it's a lot about like bar sales as opposed to ticket sales. But either way, they just want people to stay, right? So you just want to play danceable music. Let's not like stray so far from the plot. Sometimes that's what I feel like happens with this crazy amount of subgenres, because at the end of the day, it's electronic dance music. It does all fall under the same umbrella, and the goal is to get people to dance. So if people aren't dancing, obviously play something else. Listen to the feedback of the crowd, but definitely okay to be thoughtful about what kind of music you want to play before you get to your set, and then have that cushion for experimentation once you're there. So I hope these methods helped, and let me know how you prep for your DJ sets, and if there's any other content you would like to hear from me, my perspective as a Vegas DJ and artist. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.